Good evening all. Today I am going to discuss about state question paper in signals and systems. So first question is, a system with an input x of t and output y of t is described by the relation y of t equal to tx of t. This system is, they are provided with 4 choices. We have to choose one from those choices. First option is linear and time invariant system. And second option is linear and time varying. Third option is non-linear and time invariant. Fourth option is non-linear and time varying system. So first we have to remember what do you mean by a linear system. So in case of linear system, it will be satisfying superposition theorem. So we have to check whether the given system is satisfying superposition theorem or not. So for that we have to consider the relationship given in the problem. It is given as y of t equivalent to tx of t. So in this case, you have the thing as y of t equivalent to tx of t. Next, you have to consider the input as x1 of t. So the output is noted as y1 of t. And then you have to multiply it with the scalar. So you will be having a y1 of t equivalent to a t x1 of t. Similarly, you have to consider the input as x2 of t. So in this also, you will be considering the scalar as a. So it becomes, the equation becomes a y2 of t equivalent to a t x2 of t. So according to superposition theorem, it has to satisfy the case a multiplied by the outputs y1 of t plus y2 of t equivalent to a tx1 of t plus tx2 of t. So this is satisfied by this given equation. So you can conclude that the system is linear. So to check time variance or invariance, we have to delay the input and then only you'll be able to check it. So for that you are considering the equation. So normally you have to say that if y of t comma t naught is equal to y of t minus t naught, then you can say that the given system is a time invariant system. So here I'm considering the input is delayed. So you have to note down it as yd of t minus t naught equivalent to t into x of t minus t naught. So in case here I'm delaying the input alone. So here the x of t is replaced as t minus t naught. And the next case is we have to delay the output. So in case of delaying the whole output, the output in the output equation you have to replace both all the t's with t minus t naught. So in this given equation you have to replace your t as t minus t naught. So you get the equation is y of t minus t naught equal to t minus t naught into x of t minus t naught. So when you compare these two equations, you can find that those two are not equal. So it is a time varying system. So here you have to check where the option is given. So it is given in the B option, linear and time varying. So B option is the correct option. We shall see the next question. So next question is, let del of t denote the delta function, the value of the integral minus infinity to infinity del of t cos 3t by 2 dt is. So you're provided with this question and then this answer is provided in options as. So the options are given as 1, -1, 0 and then pi by 2. So for this question, you have to note down the shifting property of the delta function. That is, what do you mean by that shifting property? It is stated that integral minus infinity to infinity del of t minus t naught into x of t dt is equivalent to x of t minus t naught. So in this case, when you compare that shifting property with this equation, here you can check that t can be noted as t minus 0. So t minus 0 means then you have to note down the integral is equivalent to x of t at t equal to 0. So in that case, you have cos 3t by 2 at t equal to 0. So this will become 1. So 1 is the answer for this question. So 1 is given in option A. So here the answer is also given, noted as option A. So once again, we shall see again the solution. So del of t is a unit sample function, noted as Dirac delta function. So it is defined as del of t equal to 0 for t not equal to 0 and infinity for t equal to 0. And you can also note down that minus infinity to infinity del of t dt equal to 1, del of t into x of t equivalent to x of 0 into del of t. So here you have x of t is equivalent to cos 3t by 2. So then x of 0 equivalent to cos of 0, which is equivalent to 1. So in this case, the option is provided at A. So you have to choose A option. Next question is, the function x of t is shown in the figure. Even and odd parts of the unit function u of t are respectively. So now you have to note down the even and odd parts of the unit step function. The signal is noted like this. You have to calculate the odd and the even parts. So you have to remember that even part xc of t equivalent to x of t plus x of minus t, the whole divided by 2. Similarly, x naught of t equal to xc of t minus x naught of t divided by 2. So in this case, we shall check the solution once again. So here you have noted down the formulas. Even part is equivalent to x of t plus x of minus t divided by 2, and then similarly the odd part is equivalent to a of t minus a of minus t by 2. So provided the given function is your unit step function, so it is represented as a of t equal to u of t. Similarly, you can represent your u of minus t, that is you need of a of t and a of minus t to calculate your even part. So here you have plotted your u of t, that is a of t. Next you have to plot your a of minus t. So a of minus t is nothing but u of minus t, so plotted. So even part is represented as u e of t, which is a summation of these two divided by 2 according to this equation. So here when you add these two things, you get a straight line like this with amplitude 1 by 2. Similarly, when you go for calculating the odd part is nothing but you have to subtract u of t minus u of minus t divided by 2. So this will be as such, and then this will be minus. So it will be in the third quadrant. So divided by 2. So you have the amplitude noted as 1 by 2 minus 1 by 2. So this is the even plot of the function and this is the odd plot of the given function. So now you can check the options. So here the options are given as 1 by 2 comma 1 by 2 x of t, and then B is minus 1 by 2 1 by 2 x of t. So you can check the same with our plot. So it is 1 by 2 and then once again. So the options are 1 by 2 comma 1 by 2 x of t. So if you multiply by 1 by 2, you get both the terms as 1 by 2 for your even part. And then the odd part is given by 1 by 2 x of t. You can check that. So it is 1 by 2 x of t and then just 1 by 2 is given here and then this is 1 by 2 into x of t. So it is noted like this. So you have to choose option A. So option A is nothing but 1 by 2 comma 1 by 2 x of t. 1 by 2 means it will be a whole straight line, and then 1 by 2 x of t means the same plot provided with the amplitude equivalent to 1 by 2. In this way you will be able to choose the option for this problem. We shall see the next problem. So next problem is the Dirac delta function del of t is defined as. So you have to remember the definition for Dirac delta function and recollect it. So from all these four options, you have to choose one. So you have to remember that Dirac delta function del of t means it is represented in continuous time. So in continuous time, it will be occupying infinite amplitude. So the area will be 1, but it will be having infinite amplitude. So you have to check for those cases. So in this case, del of t equivalent to 1, so it should be rejected. So here you have the amplitude as infinity at t equal to 0, and then integration means it is representing the delta at this point. So it is equivalent to 1. So this option is correct. That is del of t equivalent to infinity at t equal to 0, and it is equal to 0 otherwise, and integral minus infinity to infinity del of t dt equivalent to 1. So you have to choose this option B. Actually, in this solution, they have noted down the definition correctly. That is for B. B is correct. So they have noted down the B option, but they have noted wrongly as D option. So you have to correct it as B option. Okay. Hope you understand. And then the next problem is the input and output of a continuous time system are respectively denoted by x of t and y of t. Which of the following descriptions corresponds to a causal system? So you are given with 4 options. So first you have to remember what do you mean by a causal system. Causal system means the output will be dependent upon the present and the past inputs. So you have to check those cases. If any one output, if the output is dependent upon the future input, then it will be a non-causal system. So in this case, y of t represents your output and x of t represents your input. So x of t minus 2, so past sample, but t plus 4 is a future sample. So you have to reject it. Similarly, here you have y of t equivalent to t minus 4. T minus 4 is just a constant. So then you have x of t plus 1. This is a future sample. And then so you have to reject B option also. Then y of t equivalent to t plus 4 into x of t minus 1. So when you go for substituting for your t values, this x of t minus 1 is a past sample. It doesn't have any future samples at all. So it dependent upon the past sample of the input. So this represents your causal system. So you have to choose option C. When you check for the D option, it is again the future sample since it is t plus 5. So in this way, you have to reject all the samples except C sample. So we shall see the solution also. So it is defined here as a causal system has output that depends only on the present and the past values of the input. Expressions A, B, and D involve terms that require future values like x of t plus 4, t plus 1, and x of t plus 5. So whenever you have t plus something means with respect to x, then it will be a future sample. So you have to note down that it will be representing a non-causal system. So you have to choose the option C. Next problem. A discrete time signal x of n equivalent to sine pi square n being an integer. So we have to check whether the given signal is periodic or not. If periodic, you have to find out the period of the signal. So first option, second option, and third, fourth, or everything is there. So first you have to check how to note down the periodicity. So in case of periodic signals, it should satisfy the condition that x of n plus n should be equivalent to x of n, where n is the smallest possible integer. So in this case, I'm going through the substitution. So let us consider your x of n equivalent to sine pi square n. So from this equation, you have to compare it with the original standard equation, that is sine omega naught n. So when you compare the sine omega naught n equation and sine pi square n, omega naught is equal to pi square. So n represents a period here. So n is given by 2 pi by omega naught into m, where m represents the least value of the positive integer. So you have to substitute for your omega naught. So here you have 2 pi by omega naught is equivalent to pi square. So it becomes 2 by pi into m. Since your n is not an integer value, since n cannot be an integer value, the system is not periodic. Only when you get n as an integer value, you can say that the given system is periodic with respect to n. Since you will not be able to get an integer value for n, it is a aperiodic system. So you have to choose option is D. Shall see the next problem. So let h of t be the impulse response of a linear time invariant system. Then the response of the system for any input u of t is. So for this you have to consider the equation as general equation you have to consider. That is, you have to relate your input and output with impulse response. An impulse response means then you can tell that y of t equivalent to x of t star h of t, where that star represents a convolution operation. So here the input is u of t and the impulse response is noted as h of t. So when you expand that convolution, you will be able to note down it as x of t, h of t minus tau, x of tau integral minus infinity to infinity, h of tau into x of t minus tau. So in this case, you have your x of t as u of t. So you have to replace that equation as x with u. So you will be getting an equation like this. Let us see the solution so that you'll be able to better understand once again. So this is the response you have to know do. So y of t is related with your input and impulse response in this way. This star represents a convolution operation. So after this you have to note down the definition for your convolution operation, that is minus infinity to infinity h of tau into u of t minus tau t tau. So dependent upon your u value, u will be existing, unit step signal will be existing only in the first quadrant, that is from 0 to infinity. But here you have the consideration that t minus tau and the limits is with respect to tau. So you can relate your limits is t minus tau, u of t minus tau equivalent to 1 for t minus tau greater than or equal to 0. So if you consider the limits, it becomes t minus tau is greater than or equal to 0. So t should be greater than or equal to tau, or tau should be less than or equivalent to t. So you have the limit changed 0 to t because of this unit step function. And then you can write down this as h of tau, u of t minus tau, t tau. So now you have to check the options. So if we check the options, it is provided at 0 to t is provided in the A option, h of tau, u of t minus tau, t tau. So you have to choose the first option. And then the next question is, the unit impulse response of a linear time invariant system is the unit step function u of t. For t greater than 0, the response of the system to an excitation e power minus at u of t a greater than 0 will be. So here also you have to note down the response of the system. So response means it is y of t. So you have to again write the expression as y of t equivalent to x of t star h of t. And here your x of t is u of t. So you have to substitute in the given equations. So here they have noted down this as, so one input is u of t and another one input is e power minus at u of t. So here you are considering their impulse response as u of t, and then h of s, that is you are taking the Laplace transform for the function so that you will be able to note down your y of t in an easy way. And then your x of t according to this point is, it is equivalent to e power minus at u of t. So you have to write down the relationship first with respect to y of t. So y of t equivalent to x of t star h of t. When you take Laplace transform for the whole equation, then that becomes y of s is equivalent to x of s into h of s. X of s is the Laplace transform of x of t. So here you have your x of t is e power minus at u of t. So according to definition of Laplace transform, you will get it as 1 by s plus a. Similarly, you have to calculate for h of s. Since it is u of t, the equivalent Laplace transform is 1 by s. So it becomes 1 by s plus a into 1 by s. So it becomes 1 by s plus a into 1 by s. And after this, you have to apply partial fraction so that you will get the equation as it is equivalent to a by s plus a plus b by s. And then you have to find out the constants a and b. If you find the constants, it will be equivalent to 1 by a and then 1. Okay. Sorry, it will be equivalent to 1 by a. So the equation becomes 1 by a into 1 by s minus 1 by s plus a. When you apply inverse Laplace transform to this whole function, you will get 1 by a constant outside. 1 by s is equivalent to 1. That is for a constant. You will be able to get the Laplace transform as 1 by s. And then 1 by s plus a means inverse Laplace transform is e power minus at. So you have to check for this option. So this option is provided at A option is like this, B option is like this. So it is matching with your B option. So you have to choose option B. So whenever you are provided with a question like the response of the system, so first you have to note down the relationship between your input, output and the impulse response. And then you have to apply Laplace transform and then you will be able to simplify and then finally you will be able to note down the response of the system. Next question. So here we have the question is the impulse response h of n of a linear time invariant system is given by h of n equal to u of n plus 3 plus u of n minus 2 minus 2 u of n minus 7, where u of n is a unit step sequence. The above system is stable but not causal. So you have to check all these 4 conditions. So from this you have to determine whether the given system is a causal and stable system. So for causality, you know that the system must be dependent upon only that is output must be dependent upon only the present and the past values of your input. So here in the given equation, it is noted that u of n is a unit step sequence. Okay, so for this we are writing again the equation like this. And then one more condition for checking the stability is summation h of n should be less than infinity. That is the condition for the stable system. Or else you have to consider that summation h of t dt, sorry, integral h of t dt must be less than infinity. Since it is a discrete time system, you can consider this summation h of n. So you have to sum all these values. So you have to consider u of n plus 3 plus u of n minus 2 and then minus 2 u of n minus 7. So you can plot it as such or else you can note down the sequence. So when you plot for u of n plus 3, the limit will be from minus 3 to infinity. That is, you can have the value as n plus 3 must be equal to 0. So n equal to minus 3 in this way. Similarly, n minus 2 becomes 0 when you substitute n is equal to 2. So you substitute 2. And then similarly, n minus 7 means you substitute 7 for your lower limit. So after that, you can note down your u of n plus 3, n minus 2 and u of n minus 1 are equivalent to 1. So due to the third term, that is you have the limit starting at minus 3, 2 and then you have 7. So in this case, after 7th sample, all the terms will be cancelled by this n minus 7. So you have only the 2 terms till the 7th term. So you can sum till 6. So you have changed the summation to n is equal to minus 3 to 6. Similarly, 2 to 6. So for the first term, between 6 and 3, you have 10. And then similarly, 2 to 6, you have 5 terms, that is 5 ones. So totally 15. So the system is stable. Once again. So for the bounded input, the output is bounded, so the system is stable. And then if the impulse response term, note the future value of the input u of n plus 3, so the system is not causal. So in here, when you check h of n, it is given by h of n is given by u of n plus 3, u of n minus 2, and then u of n minus 7. So here one term is representing your future input. So you have to consider that the system is stable but not causal. So you have to choose the first option, A. So here the answer is noted as option A. System is stable but not causal. Next question. The impulse response h of t of a linear time invariant continuous time system is described by h of t equivalent to exponential alpha t u of t plus exponential beta t u of minus t, where u of t denotes a unit step function and alpha and beta are real constants. This system is stable if. So you have to consider the condition for stability and then you can have the options. So condition for stability is integral minus infinity to infinity modulus of h of tau d tau should be less than infinity. That is, an LTA continuous time system is stable if and only if its impulse response is absolutely integrable. So for this, you have to consider the cases. So you are provided with the two signals. One is with u of t and another one with u of minus t. So we have noted like this. So e power alpha t u of t and the e power beta t u of minus t. So in this case, the first term will be extending from t greater than 0. So for this case, this becomes finite only when this alpha t is less than 0 for t greater than 0. So when you consider this term, then alpha must be less than 0. Similarly, this will be existing in the interval t less than 0. So for t less than 0, this beta t must be greater than 0. So for this case, beta must be greater than 0. So final condition is alpha must be negative because of this condition and then beta must be positive because of this condition. So h of should be of the form. So you have to choose the option as alpha is negative and beta is positive. So this is given by the D option. So it's, for example, its plot is also shown here. So you have a plot, like plot is not necessary, but you have to remember that alpha is negative and your beta is positive so that the system is stable. Hope you understand. Next question is, a system is defined by its impulse response h of n equal to 2 power n u of n minus 2. The system is stable and causal. So you have to choose options. So first you have to remember whether the given system is a causal system or not. So you can understand that whenever you have the term n minus 2, it represents the past sample. So you can conclude that the given system is a causal system. But you have to check the stability for the system. Condition for stability is summation h of n must be less than infinity. So when you check for that option, it becomes summation 2 power n. So limit will be from 0 to infinity or 2 to infinity. So it becomes an unstable system. So when you check for h of n equal to 2 power n u of n minus 2, it is a causal system since h of n equal to 0 for n less than 0. So the given system is causal. For stability, you have to check summation h of n is less than infinity. So for substituting h of n, you get the limit is, since your u of n minus 2 is there, lower limit is 2 to infinity and then 2 power n. This is equivalent to infinity. So summation h of n, summation modulus of h of n is not less than infinity. So the given system is a not stable system. So you have to choose the condition that the system is causal but not stable. Next question. Two systems with impulse response h1 of t and h2 of t are connected in cascade. Then the overall response of the cascaded system is given by. So you have to remember the block diagram representation of your two impulse responses connected in cascade. So these two systems are connected in cascade. then the overall impulse response will be given by this option, convolution of H1 of t and H2 of t. Since when you connect both of them in parallel, you get the condition. You get the output as sum of H1 of t and H2 of t. Since they are connected in cascade, option C is correct. So you can note down this figure also. So you have a system in which H1 of t and H2 of t are the impulse responses connected in cascade. So the equivalent of these two will be equivalent to H1 of t star H2 of t. Next question. Which one of the following systems is not true for a continuous time causal and stable LTI system? So you have provided with 4 conditions. You have to check which is not true. So first condition is all the poles of the system must lie on the left side of the j omega axis. So it is correct. And then zeros of the system can lie anywhere in the S plane. Oh, correct. Then all the poles must lie within modulus of S is equal to 1. So you have to check this condition. So this may be a wrong statement. We shall see the solution now. So for a stable LTI system, all poles of the system should lie in the left half of the S plane and no repeated pole should be on the imaginary axis. So option C is not true for the stable system as modulus of S is equal to 1 have one pole in the right plane also, right hand plane also. So you have to choose the incorrect option. Incorrect statement is all the poles must lie within SS, modulus of S is equal to 1. Next question is a continuous time. Once again. A continuous time, linear time has an impulse response described by this equation h of t equal to 3 for 0 less than or equal to 3t and then 0 otherwise for 0 less than or equal to t less than or equal to 3 when a constant input of value 5 is applied to filter this filter, the steady state output is. So you have to consider again the output of the system. So for this case also you have to relate your input h of input and impulse response and your output. So you have to note down the equation first. So usually you will be writing the equation as first you have to write this equation, that is y of t equivalent to x of t star h of t, and then you can write down with respect to Laplace transform, which is equivalent to y of s equal to h of s into x of s. So you have h of t equivalent to this value. So this can be noted like this. This rectangular portion can be noted as 3 multiplied by u of t minus u of t minus 3. So this is the given impulse response. So after taking Laplace, you get it as 3 into 1 by s minus, since it is a time shifting function, time shifted by 3 units, you have this term as e power minus 3s by s. And then it is given in the problem that x of t equivalent to 5. So x of s is equivalent to 5 by s. So you have to substitute those two values for this equation. So your h of s is equivalent to the given value 3 into 1 by s minus e power minus 3 by s. You have to substitute it here and then multiply it by this x value. So actually your output is given by this equation, final output, steady state output. So you have to apply the final value theorem. So it is limit s tending to 0, s into y of s. So you have this value. You substitute this here and then by L'Hospital's rule, you have the equation as 15 multiplied by 3 into e power minus 3s, and here also s tends to 0. So this becomes 3 into 15, which is equivalent to 45 degree. Sorry, 45. So in this way, you will be able to note down the answer as 45. So actually what we have done in this problem is, so first you are provided with the impulse response h of t, and then it is noted that input 5 is applied to the filter. What is the steady output? That is, you have to find your output at infinity. So for that, you have to relate the input, output, and your impulse response. After relating it, you have to apply Laplace transform, and then finally you have to apply the final value theorem of Laplace transform also to find. So here you have applied your Laplace transform to your output, input, and then the impulse response. And from this, you will be able to note down your steady state output by providing this equation, noting this equation. So finally, the answer will be equivalent to 45. So next question, the input minus 3 e power minus 2t u of t, where u of t is a unit step function, is applied to a system with transfer function s minus 2 by s plus 3. If the initial value of the output is minus 2, the value of the output at steady state is, you have to find out this. So here also you are going to find out the output. So again you have to first relate this equation, that is output is equivalent to input convolution with impulse response, and then you have to apply Laplace transform for the whole equation, and then you know that input is given like this, so it is x of t. So this is x of t, so noted here as x of t, and then the Laplace transform of x of t is constant will be placed as such minus 3. Since e power minus 2t is there, you have the function as 1 by s plus 2. So you have noted your x of s. Then you have the transfer function given as s minus 2 by s plus 3. It is noted here. Now you have to note down your output by substituting in that equation. So you have the equation as y of s is equivalent to x of s into h of s, x of s here, and then h of s is here. And then you have to note down your steady state value of y of s. So you have to apply the final value theorem. So final value theorem means you're going to find out y of infinity, which is given by limit s tending to 0, s into y of s. So if you provide the term like this, you will get it as 0, s into y of s is 0. So in this case, you have the option as 0. So from that option, you can note down. So it doesn't, no options are given here. It is a fill up. So you have to fill it as 0. So in the question, you are provided with the input, and then you are noted with the transfer function. So when the input and the transfer function are given, you will be able to note down the output by using the relationship between your input, impulse response, and then the output. And then by applying Laplace transform, you will be able to find out the steady state output. And also here the initial value of the output is given. So the value of the output at steady state is given by applying the final value theorem in Laplace transform. So you have found out your y of s, and then you are finding out your y of infinity. Finally, you have it as 0. So hope you will be able to follow all these questions. If you have any doubts, you can ask me. Once again, I'll be able to change the slide so that you'll be able to discuss one more question paper. So now we are going to see about the second question paper. We shall see some problems again in this question paper also. So here you have the first question is given two continuous time signals x of t equal to e power minus t and y of t equivalent to e power minus 2t, which exists for t greater than 0. The convolution z of t equivalent to x of t star y of t is. So here you have to note down that it is a convolution operation, but again the outputs here noted in the options are again noted in the time domain only. So for simplification, you can apply Laplace transform, find out the result, and then again find the inverse Laplace transform so that you will have any one of these options. So for that we have the solution like this. So z of t equivalent to x of t star y of t. When you apply Laplace transform to this equation, this becomes z of s is equivalent to x of s into y of s. So convolution operation becomes multiplication operation in S domain. So here your e power minus t means x of s is 1 by s plus 1. Similarly, e power minus 2t means y of s is equivalent to 1 by s plus 2. So they have substituted for 1 by s plus 2. X of s into y of s is like this. Then you have to apply partial fraction. So you have to write the next step as a by s plus 1 plus b by s plus 2. Then you have to note down the results for your a and b. So in this case, you have your a value as 1 and then b value will be equivalent to minus 1. So you get the term as 1 by s plus 1 minus 1 by s plus 2. So you have found out the constant values also. So next step is you have to apply inverse Laplace transform. So when you apply inverse Laplace transform, 1 by s plus 1 means it will be equivalent to e power minus 2, e power minus t. Similarly, when you go for applying this 1 by s plus 2 means it will be equivalent to e power minus 2t. So you get the result like this. So when you get the result like this, you will be having the equation as e power minus t e power minus 2t. The option is given at A. So you have to choose the option A. So hope you are clear with this problem. Once again. So next problem. Next problem is, let a causal LTI system be characterized by the following differential equation with initial rest condition. D square y of y by dt square plus 7 dy by dt plus 10 y of t equivalent to 4x of t plus 5 dx of t by dt, where x of t and y of t are the input and output respectively. The impulse response of the system is given in the options like this, and u of t is a unit step function. So for this also you have to consider the case that you have to relate your input and your output. So y of t equivalent to x of t star h of t. So in this case you are provided with your uh, equation like this. So you have to first take Laplace transform for the whole equation and then find out your transfer function, and then you will be able to relate. We can see the solution now once again. So here you have the solution like this. Once again. So in this problem, we have to take Laplace transform for this whole given differential equation. So if you take Laplace transform for this whole equation, it becomes s square y of s plus 7s y of s plus 10 y of s is equivalent to, this is 4, this is wrongly written as u. So it is 4x of t. So it is 4x of s plus 5x of s. And then you have to rewrite it as y of s by x of s in order to note down your transfer function h of s. So when you take common term as y of s, it becomes s square plus 7s plus 10y plus, 7s plus 10. So you have this thing in the denominator, and then this is 4 plus 5s is kept in the numerator. So finally you get your h of s is equivalent to 5s plus 4 divided by s plus 2 into s plus 5. you have to apply inverse Laplace transform. For that, you have to apply partial fraction. So you have to note it as a by s plus 2 plus b by s plus 5. So you have to find the constants a and b will be equivalent to minus 2 and 7. So when you apply inverse Laplace transform, it will be equivalent to minus 2 is a constant. 1 by s plus 2 means it is e power minus 2t u of t. Similarly, 7 is a constant. So 7 multiplied by s plus 5. So it is e power minus 5t u of t. So you have to choose this option. So it is provided in the second option. So option B is correct. Next problem. So next problem is ROC of the Z transform of the discrete time sequence is given by x of n equal to 1 by 3 whole power n, u of n minus 1 by 2 whole power n, u of minus n minus 1. So for this problem, you have to take Z transform, then only you'll be able to choose these options. So for that, you have to remember the definition of x of Z. Summation n equal to minus infinity to infinity, x of n is z power minus n. So instead of x of n, you have 1 by 3 whole power n, u of n. So for u of n, you have substituted 1 and change the limits as 0 to infinity. Similarly, this term is 1 by 2 whole power n, u of minus n minus 1. So you provide the limit as minus infinity to minus 1. And then you have to bring n as common. So this becomes 1 by 3 is an inverse. And then you have to change the limits to positive so that you will be able to apply the summation formula. So in this case, it will be coming 1 by 3 is it inverse less than 1 and it should be greater than 1. So you have to combine these two cases for your ROC. So it will be equivalent to 1 by 3 less than z less than 1 by 2. So you have to check that option. So it is given in A. So you have to choose the option as A. Next problem. So next problem is the Fourier series expansion f of t equivalent to a naught plus summation a n cos n omega t plus b n sin n omega t of the periodic signal shown below will contain the following non-zero terms. So the signal is provided with these non-zero terms. You have to choose any one of the option. So in case this is a symmetrical signal with respect to your y-axis. So you have to choose that Bn should be equivalent to 0. So if you check the options, here only you have A0 and An. So you have to choose that option as D option, A0 and An, n equal to 1, 3, 5. So it satisfies the half-phase symmetry so that it only contains odd harmonics. So you have chosen this n option, otherwise you would have chosen this option also. And then it satisfies the even symmetry, so Bn is equal to 0. So I hope you understand this problem. So in a Fourier series, you have to consider this before calculating your Fourier series coefficient. Since it has an even symmetry, your Bn is equal to 0 and it satisfies a half-phase symmetry so that it contains only odd harmonics. Next problem. The frequency response of a linear time invariant system is given by h of s is equivalent to 5 by 1 plus j 10 pi f. The step response of the system is. So here you are provided with h of f. And then you have to note down your step response. So you have to note down your x of t equal to u of t. Then you have to find out your y of t. So here they have given the option as y of s is equivalent to x of s into h of s. So from h of f, you have to note down your h of s. So replace your omega as s. So here your omega is 2 pi f. So remaining term is pi. So this becomes pi s. J omega should be replaced as s. So you have your transfer function as 1 by s plus 1 by 5. And then step responses, you have to substitute your x of s as 1 by s, multiplying these two values. And then you have to apply partial fraction. So this becomes 5 by s minus 5 by s plus 1 by 5. So you have the equation as 5 into, when you apply inverse Laplace transform, this becomes 1 and this becomes e power minus 1 by 5t u of t, 1 by 5t u of t into 5. So this option is the answer. So you have to choose whichever option is having this. So B option is matching with the result. So you have to choose the option B. So whenever you are noted with the response of the system means, then you have to relate your input, impulse response and your output. Then only you'll be able to get a result. Next problem. The response h of t of a linear time invariant system to an impulse del of t under initially relaxed condition is h of t equal to e power minus 3t, sorry, e power minus t plus e power minus 2t. The response of the system for a unit step input u of t is. Here also the same case. So whenever you give an impulse as input, the output is noted as h of t. So here the impulse response is given, input is given. So from this you will be able to note down your y of t by applying the Laplace transform to the whole function. So here they have given the transfer function. So transfer function is this h of t. If you take Laplace transform for this equation, this becomes a transfer function. Since you have e power minus t, this becomes 1 by s plus 1 and this becomes 1 by s plus 2. And then the step response is y of s is equivalent to x of s. X of s is 1 by s. They have substituted the 1 by s here. And then you have to apply inverse Laplace transform to find out your result in terms of t, that is in time domain. So they have applied inverse Laplace transform after providing your x of s is equivalent to 1 by s. So when you apply partial fraction to these two terms separately, you will get this equation. So after this, you have to write down your inverse. 1 by s means it is equivalent to 1. 1 by s plus 1 means it is e power minus t. And then 0.5 by s means 0.5 constant. And then 0.5 by s plus 2 is 0.5 into e power minus 2t u of t. So you have to check for this option. So this option is given a C. So you have to choose the option as C. Next problem. So again, I think this problem is repeated. Anyway, we can see this also. When two systems with impulse response h1t and h2 of t are connected in cascade, the overall impulse response of the cascaded system is given by 4 options are given. So in that, convolution of h1 of t and h2 of t is a correct option. So you have to choose that one and you have to remember this block diagram representation also. Next problem. So a band limited signal with a maximum frequency of 5 kilohertz is to be sampled. According to the sampling theorem, the sampling frequency in kilohertz, which is not valid, is. So here you have given the options. Almost all the options may be correct, but only one option is wrong. You have to choose that option. So first you have to recollect what do you mean by a sampling theorem. So in case of a sampling theorem, you have to state that you will be able to retrieve the original signal from the samples, provided the sampling frequency is greater than twice that of the maximum frequency present in the given signal. So you will be depicting it in the mathematical form as Fs must be greater than or equal to 2 Fm. So here Fm is given as 5 kilohertz. So Fs must be greater than or equal to 2 into 5, that is 10 kilohertz. So in this case, this is 12 kilohertz, so it is greater than 10. This is also greater than 10. This is also greater than 10. So you have to choose the incorrect answer as A. So this is option A is the correct answer for this problem. It is a band limited signal with a maximum frequency of 5 kilohertz is to be sampled. According to the sampling theorem, the sampling frequency in kilohertz, which is not valid, is 5 kilohertz. Okay. So hope you all will be able to understand this problem. Any doubts you can ask me. Okay, thank you. We shall see the rest of the things in the next class. Sorry, one more problem is there. We shall see it. So here, the Z transform x of Z of a sequence, x of n is given by x, it is given that the region of convergence of x of s includes a unit circle. So here you have to choose either one of the options. So you have to check the ROC of the circle. So in this case, x of z is equal to 0.5 by 1 minus 2 z inverse. So when you apply inverse z transform, it becomes x of n equal to minus 0.5 to power minus n, u of minus n minus 1. Okay, so in this case, your x of 0 is equivalent to 0. So if you apply initial value theorem, then your x of 0 is equivalent to 0.5 by applying this limit z tending to infinity x of z. So it is equivalent to 0.5. So these two are not matching. That is wrong because here the initial value theorem is not applicable because the signal of x of n is defined for n less than 0. So you have to choose option as B is the correct answer because in this case you have u of minus n minus 1. So u of minus n minus 1 will be will be in the range less than 1 minus 1. So you have to choose the option as B. Consider a next problem. Consider a continuous time system with input x of t and output y of t given by y of t equivalent to x of t cos t. The system is, you have to check whether the system is linear, time invariant, all those things. So first we shall check the linearity of the system. So if to check linearity, it has to satisfy the superposition theorem. So you have to check that. So when you substitute your input is x1 of t, your output can be noted as y1 of t. Similarly, if your input is x1 of t, then your output is noted as y2 of t. So the sum of the two outputs will be equivalent to this value. So it is matching, so it is a linear system. When you check the time invariance, when you delay the input alone, you will get the term as x of t minus t naught into cos t. But if you delay the output wholly, means it will be x of t minus t naught into cos t minus t naught. So these two are not matching. So you have to tell that it is a time varying system. So in this case, you have to choose the option C since it is a linear and time varying system. So hope you are able to understand this. So in case of linearity, you have to check whether the given system is satisfying superposition theorem. And in case of time variance, you have to delay the input and the output separately, and you have to check the case that y of t minus t naught is equivalent to y of t comma t naught. This y of t minus t naught represents your delayed output, and this y of t comma t naught represents the output due to the delayed input. If these two are equal, then you can conclude that the given system is a time invariant system. So in this case, the answer is linear and time varying. Consider the system with the following input-output relation y of n equivalent to 1 plus minus 1 whole power n x of n, where x of n is the input and y of n is the output. The system is, so you have to check whether the given system is invertible and time varying. So first we shall check the time invariance. So in case of time invariance, first case is you have to delay the input alone. So let us represent it as y dash of n, and you replace your x of n alone as n minus n naught. So you get this equation. Next step, you delay your output itself. That is, you have to replace your n as a whole as n minus n naught. So you replace this n also. So you get this equation. So these two are not equal. So you have to conclude that it is a time variant system. And then the next case is you have to check whether the system is invertible or not. So for that, you have to check the uniqueness of x of n. For each unique x of n, there should be unique y of n. So for if x of n equal to delta of n minus 1, so you check 1 plus minus 1 whole power n delta of n minus 1. So delta of n minus 1 means it will be equivalent to n should be equivalent to 1 here. So when you substitute, it is equal to 0. Similarly, if x of n equal to 2 into delta of n minus 1, you get again the sample is 0. So because delta of n minus 1 will be present only at n is equal to 1. So you have to substitute this is equivalent to 1. So 1 plus minus 1 will be equivalent to 0. 0 into 2 again 0. So these two values are not unique. So you have to tell that two different inputs have same output. Thus one-to-one mapping is not possible. Hence the system is a non-invertible system. So you have to remember how to check whether the given system is invertible or non-invertible. Next question is, a system is defined by its impulse response h of n equal to 2 power n u of n minus 2. The system is stable and causal, causal but not stable, unstable and non-causal, stable but not causal. So first you have to check whether the system is stable or not. So for stability, it has to satisfy the condition that summation n equal to minus infinity to infinity modulus of h of n should be less than infinity. But in this case, you will have summation n equal to 2 to infinity 2 power n. So this will not be less than infinity. So it is a unstable, not stable system. Since you have n minus 2, the system depends only on the past samples. So the given system is a causal but not stable system. So in this way, you have to conclude whether the given system is causal or stable system. Okay, we shall see the rest of the things in the next class. Thank you all.